Hey everybody, my name is Bruce Williams. I'm the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce. Very proud to be here. And of course, we'll always gratefully acknowledge that I live and work in the ancestral lands of the Lekwungen-speaking Coast Salish nations, in particular the Songhees and the Esquimalt. And of course, UVic also lies within the lands of the Wasanich nations as well. We always treasure the opportunity to live and work around them all the time and learn from their culture and their great heritage. Nice to be with you here today for the UVic Co-op and Career Employer Appreciation event. The Chamber has a long-standing relationship with UVic. If I want to put this in perspective, 45 years is how long the Chamber has been a member. The UVic has been a member of the Chamber. Chris Orbachevsky, the current VP of External, is actually on one of our policy committees. His predecessor, Carmen Charette, served on our board. So since 1976, the Chamber and UVic have had a relationship, and we're grateful for that. And I've had a number of relationships with employees here at the university on different levels for charity things and through work things. And in fact, the person who's coordinating this event, my dear friend Jennifer Wong, and I had the chance to work together at one time, and it's great to be back working with her again. Jen, you're one of the people I've missed the most through all this, so I miss you and I love you, and I'll see you soon. And thanks for doing all the stuff you're doing for here today. So we are here to celebrate UVic Co-op employers and award recipients. We have 4 employers of the year, including 1 in a new category, and 3 students of the year we'd like to recognize. And we're going to have we're going to get banter, I think, between your new UVic president, Kevin Hall, and I are going to have a chat about a few things. You'll learn a few things about the president today. Guaranteed that's going to happen. Let me quickly run through a couple of things, though, that will help you participate today. Live captioning and sign language interpretation are both available today. A little bit of a delay on one of them, but we're working on making that happen for you. The captionist is Callie, and the interpreter is Tanya from the Island Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center. Thank you both for being here and doing what you're doing. To access the captioning, click on the live transcript icon on the bottom of your screen, and the interpreter will be spotlit during the session. And we're also recording this whole event today for people who can't join us today or might want to just go back and relive the joy of it all after the fact. We're also working today with an online app called Slido, S-L-I-D-O, so we can engage with all of you virtually in real time. First of all, though, I would like to introduce Andrea Giles. Andrea is the Executive Director of the UVic Co-op and Career. Her involvement in cooperative and work-integrated education spans over 25 years. She has been instrumental in the development of UVic's cooperative education program, and in 2018, she was awarded the inaugural Co-op Lifetime Achievement Award from the Association for Cooperative Education in BC and Yukon. Congratulations and welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Bruce, for the introduction. I am so happy to be able to join you today at the 12th Annual UVic Cooperative Education Program and Career Services Employer Appreciation Reception. My name is Andrea Giles, and I'm the Executive Director for Co-op and Career. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge with respect the Lekwungen peoples on whose traditional territories the University of Victoria stands, and the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanich peoples whose historical relationship with the land continues to this day. Thank you so much for joining us. This afternoon, I look forward to hearing from our new President, Dr. Kevin Hall, and honoring our 2020 Employers and Students of the Year. In early 2020, all of us faced the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are so grateful to each and every one of you for supporting co-op students through this trying time. Some of you set up remote work opportunities for students. Others made sure to have dedicated COVID-safe workspaces so students could have a sense of community while still being safe. All of you worked so hard to continue to provide extraordinary learning opportunities for our students. We are so inspired by all your amazing work. We received a question from our audience about UVic's plans to create more on-campus co-op opportunities for students. Over the last year, there were 585 on-campus co-op placements. Almost 200 of these were with learning and teaching support and innovation. The number of on-campus placements increased dramatically from spring 2020 to summer 2020, jumping from 83 placements in the spring term to 191 in the summer. This trend continued into fall 2020 and spring 2021, with 184 and 127 placements respectively. Like all our other employers, UVic departments stepped up to support our students during the pandemic. The increase in hiring since spring 2020 shows the way UVic departments hired more students to support them when they were losing jobs elsewhere. We are so proud to stand beside our other employers as an institution who supports and facilitates work-integrated learning opportunities. We're also excited to hold this event virtually for the first time. This opportunity allows for our national and international employers to join us for the first time, and we can finally express our appreciation, if not face-to-face, screen to screen. We recently passed 95,000 total co-op placements since the program began in 1976. This could happen because of you, the employers who support students as they gain invaluable experiences in your workplaces. As we approach our 100,000th co-op placement, we are excited to continue to work with you to create hands-on learning experiences that make such an impact on our students and our communities. Thank you.
Andrea, thank you very much for that. And now, without further ado, you're asking, who is that masked man? That masked man is the relatively new UVic president, Dr. Kevin Hall, who's going to join me here in the snappy red chairs. Good thing we have red chairs, matches my eyes. Very appreciative of that. I find that the black mask is quite slimming, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes it
Incredible mask. Yeah.
So welcome. We're going to give you a little background on Dr. Hall if you don't know this already. He's an innovator. He comes to UVic with a variety of experience in world-class post-secondary institutions. He's held leadership positions at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, the University of Guelph, oddly enough, it's in Guelph, and most recently the University of Newcastle in Australia. So here we are, a couple of Southern Ontario guys on the West Coast.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Two guys, four legs, two functioning knees between us. Because you had an issue with your knee, right?
Absolutely. I call it an old sports injury, Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we'll do for now. Yeah.
But you were triathlon.
Yeah, I competed for a number of years in triathlon. Well, 35 years, including for Canada at a little piece of time. Yeah.
Good for you. Do you have sort of aspirational ideas, things that you want to accomplish that you think are going to be very, very transformative for the university?
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind really quickly. Bruce, first of all, I'm really committed to education. I am the first in my family to go to university. And, I truly meant it when I say living the dream. I mean, who would have thought that this kid from a working class family, my parents, neither of them finished grade 10. Here I am as the president of a university, and I'm really interested in pathways to education. How do we take that 65% of Canadians that don't get to go to university, how do we create pathways for them to get in to go to university and improve their possibilities of great careers through education? So that's number one. The other is community engagement. Yes. And I'm really excited about this event today because I think universities have lost their way in terms of how they engage with the community, be it business or industry or the community at large, with the government. And I really want to see what we can do at UVic to make sure we're an exemplar in the country.
Just one more question. All the traveling you did when you were in Australia and through your career, how many countries have you been to? How many stamps on your passport?
Yeah, so I have a competition going with my daughter who currently lives in Germany.
Okay.
She's got the travel bug. I've been to over 100 countries now, and we've got this competition to see who can get to the most countries. I've been fortunate enough that most of that's been through work, and so I've traveled extensively for work. I've traveled through sports, through my triathlon. Yeah. I've done very little travel for pleasure, it turns out, but it's always pleasurable to travel. And I'll tell you what, I think traveling is one of the greatest things you can do. It opens your mind to a diversity of opinion, a diversity of situations and thoughts, and it's just something that's fantastic. And one of the things we'd really like to look at UVic is how do we build this co-op program to be more international. And we do have some fantastic international partners in the co-op program, and we'll be an international award today.
Yep.
But we'd really like to expand that because I think, travel is something that just really helps build your, your thought process, your mind.
What's on the bucket list? Where haven't you been that you want to go to?
Oh, gosh, that's a really good question. I guess to go back and explore more of Africa. I've been to Africa. I've done a lot of work in Africa, but I've been to maybe 15, 20 countries in Africa. I'd like to explore some of the other countries across Africa. It's just a really beautiful, beautiful country with fantastic people.
Yeah, I've been to Africa as well. My partner is South African, so we go there to see her people once in a while.
Fantastic.
Okay, everything you've ever wanted to know about Kevin Hall and more right there. And more to follow, and his door is always open, and his email you're going to have shortly too if you want to ask him more about his travels or about triathlons or anything else that we're talking about today. Okay, so why don't we learn more now about the co-op employers? Earlier we shared a Slido survey with the audience, so let's see the results of what you have sent in for us. Tell us about your organization. Okay, So there we go.
So the first question, where is your company based? And this is, of course, not surprising. We're in Victoria. We have a lot of co-op placements in Victoria.
Yep.
But interesting, we've got places right across British Columbia. And of course, you'll have to help me with this. I'm new to British Columbia. I couldn't tell you where half these places are.
Well, let's see here. Well, Toronto's not in BC. Calgary's not in BC. Brisbane is not in BC. And then I'm always will live there. Anzac is not in Canada.
Yeah, some great variety of places. I think.
Ottawa and Victoria.
Yeah.
I mean, Greater Victoria itself is 13 municipalities and 10 First Nations, right? So we have that diversity built into our own borders here.
It's incredible here. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. Okay, let's go on to question number 2. I've kind of answered this already in my case. How many UVic co-op students have you employed? That's a good number. Look at that.
Yeah, interesting. So, and of course, all these add up incrementally. And one of the things that blew me away in Andrea's video at the start was that we've almost had 100,000 students over the 45 years. That's just absolutely incredible. And some of our companies here hiring over 20 co-op students, which is fantastic. And it's, of course, we're thankful to that. This is an incredibly important piece of the educational experience.
Yeah, the
at the
experience
University of Victoria.
For the co-op students, it's invaluable, but I can tell you that goes 2 ways, because the co-op student that we hired full-time and the one that I'm going to be hiring are both millennials. I'm learning that culture back from them now, right? Because when people are scratching their head about what the millennials' priorities are, I'm learning that from them and applying that to what we do in business, because of course more and more millennials are getting into business and staying in business as they pivot into something. So that's amazing. Okay, survey question number 3. How large is your organization? Ooh, that's impressive.
Yeah, look at that. That's fantastic. I think, for me, co-op is perfect for any size organization. Everything from a startup, a small, medium enterprise, right up to a multinational. And I think that's what we're seeing in this result. That, that's spread across everything from companies from 1 to 20 right to over 100. And I'd be interested too about how many of these companies actually have use the same student again. How many actually ask for the same student? I had Jennifer Smith in my company last year. She was so fantastic. I want her back next year. It'd be interesting to look at those stats.
It would be interesting as well to see these numbers from a year and a half ago, to see how much impact the pandemic has had on job numbers. Within the chamber membership, we have 85% of chamber member companies have less than 10 employees.
Right.
So that's why it's the heart and soul of small business, right? Yeah. We also have the larger employers too. And we've seen a bit of a shift in some of the, I don't like the term mom and pop, but the smaller SMEs, small medium enterprise. Some of them are struggling. Certainly the ones in tourism and hospitality are having a rough go right now. And with the current situation, that doesn't appear to be looking a whole lot rosier as we go forward. We'll have a better idea of that on Monday, by the way. So keep an eye on the media and on chamber channels. We'll let you know what's up with that. But thank you for sharing all of that. And we hope that your organizations stay robust through all of this and continue to grow and thrive and create prosperity going forward. Okay, survey question number 4. How long have you been a UVic co-op employer? Okay. Yeah, impressive numbers. So these are the numbers you'd like to increase.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those companies, 31% of 1 to 2 years, it'd be great to have them in 8 years' time say, we're in the 10-year plus category. So we want to make sure, the university can offer our co-op employers what they need to be successful as well. So you mentioned earlier the importance of relationships and partnerships, and that they're actually two-way partnerships. So we really appreciate the co-op employers, taking our students on to give them experience. And we say in reverse, what can we do for you in your business, particularly in a time like now with COVID? Is there something we can do as a university to help you get through this next 2 months, 6 months, 12 months in better shape? So we'd love to see those numbers keep continuing.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at it too from the point of view that a co-op student is coming in, it's almost like an internship in a way. In some circumstances, it's called that. Yeah. But you're training an employee on your culture and on your business and what you do, so that's not as much of a learning curve should you decide to hire them.
That's absolutely the case, and it's almost like a test drive as well.
Yeah.
I mean, working in a company, personalities have to also mesh as well as the technical skills and talents. And it's a great opportunity to work with some of these students and see whether they're the kind of person you want to hire in your business when they graduate. Okay,
the next one's going to be an interesting word cloud. You've heard from Kevin and me about what was your first job. Let's see what's out there and what you've been able to learn from that. Oh, lifeguard.
Wow, a lot of lifeguards there. Dishwashers, yeah, we've all done that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things you do to find out what it is you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I was ever going to be a baker because I saw how hard my father worked and the family worked and how much work was. But it was good, hard work. It was honest work. But yeah, not for me. Consulting, that's a great word.
Yeah, paper routes. We all have paper routes.
Dishwasher, yep, been there, done that. I was pretty wrinkled from the shoulders down for about 8 years of my youth. A tutor, that's interesting.
Yeah.
First job was as a tutor. That's a smart person.
UVic co-op student.
Nice.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? So first job, actually, when you come to university, you go out on a co-op placement. That's fantastic to see.
Well, thanks for all that.
That's
folks.
great.
That's really good. We appreciate you sharing that. So we're going to move into new polls now. These polls are reflective of audience questions received in advance of this event today. So we have these a few polls on things you'll be curious to learn about being the new UVic president.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's share the first poll. What does workplace readiness mean to your organization?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I think on top of that, is workplace readiness, has it changed now because of COVID? Is it going to change in the future? I think that's something we're all sort of struggling and dealing with at this point in time.
I mean, it absolutely will. I'll go back to the example of the co-op student that we hired and the one that I'm going to be hiring. Both are millennial, which means they're very nimble when it comes to social media and different platforms.
Yeah.
Game changer. Absolute game changer, right?
Yeah.
Not something I would have been able to maneuver, but that's what I'm learning from them.
Yeah.
So industry-specific skills, yes, that's very important. That's something you develop over time. Initiative is one of those words. Initiative, innovation, ready to work, communication.
Yeah, flexible.
Yeah.
I think interesting, welcoming. I mean, here we are. We produce students with specific skills and training at universities. These life skills are extremely important, right? Being welcoming, being adaptable, having a positive attitude, flexible, we see up there.
So safety come up there too. Safety is something that has become a huge deal since the pandemic began.
Yeah, absolutely.
Human health, human safety is a huge deal, right? Keeping your employees and your coworkers safe and healthy, if you do have to be in the workplace, is a huge deal. That's changed forever.
It is changed forever.
Like, what's the classroom of the future going to look like?
We're struggling with that right now. We're looking at trying to get students back in September for full face-to-face. We know there'll be some restrictions with class size because of public health orders. But we're actually, looking beyond that. We're looking at, what does education look like in 2 years, 5 years? And I wouldn't say it's been a perfect experience during the pandemic. We've really done the best we can, pivoting really quickly. But I think we've also learned some things work really well. And so this sort of hybrid notion around education, I think, will be with us for a while. And I suspect that'll be the same in the workplace. We'll be seeing people working remotely in organizations for quite some time to come as actually a lifestyle choice or actually a productivity choice.
Yeah, that's been actually something organized labor's been talking about. That their employees find that they are actually more productive, feel safer, feel happier working from home.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reduces workplace conflict, that's for sure.
Fantastic couple. Well, we've been told to move on, Bruce. So we got a question up here. Rate your experience as a co-op employer on a scale of 1 to 5. I'm assuming that the 5 is a high, and we're actually seeing some great responses here. It looks like about a third of the employers are indicating a 5-star response, a third indicating a 4-star. It'd be great for us to follow up, and we achieve for 5-star. We strive for 5-star all the time. It'd be great to see what's not working so well, and see how we as a university can sort of make changes to make sure that everybody's really happy with their co-op employees.
It's really encouraging that 1, 2, and 3 are a 0, and from my experience, you get a 5.
Yeah,
at the chamber, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we do. Okay,
yeah.
Moving on for the sake of time, how can UVic better support co-op employers? Celebrate students who become employers. That's cool. Smaller, more targeted virtual network events.
Subsidy for wages, that absolutely, particularly in a time like COVID, makes a bit of sense. So we'd have to try to figure out how we do that. Of course, we're not a positive cash generating business as a university, but maybe there's ways we can look at that.
And allow program length and method to suit employee and employer for unconventional learning opportunities. So that's under innovation. Right?
I think that's actually that's great advice. We typically do these in our semester length things, but I think we're also looking at universities on how to be more flexible with timetabling, and perhaps everything shouldn't be a 12-week semester. Things could be done in other mechanisms.
Michelle Mahovlich, you do a great job already. You talking to me, Michelle? No. Provide some guidance for employers on how to best guide and support co-op students at the places of work. That's experience that can carry forward to any workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Given the current environment, virtual meetings seem to be prevalent and need to continue. Hi, Frank, at Given.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely, yeah.
Frank Lowe's with RBC.
Yeah, recognition and acknowledgement. Yeah, I think that is important. And of course, today's event is here to recognize and acknowledge our co-op employers, but there's much more we could do there, I'm sure. And I think a bit on the student side as well.
So every year, the Co-op and Career Nominations Outstanding Co-op Employers and Employer Year Awards happen. These are employers who go above and beyond to support work-integrated learning. This is the award for this year that you're looking at right here. It's a beautiful award created by artist Chris Paul. Chris is a Coast Salish artist born near Victoria as a member of the Sartlip Nation. Sartlip Nation is up around what we now call Brentwood Bay.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's a beautiful awards and fantastic. And congratulations to Chris. I mean, it's fantastic artwork.
So in 2020, we all faced extraordinary challenges, and throughout it all, these employers continued to provide UVic students with meaningful work, support, and mentorship. This year, the award ceremony, of course, well, in 2020 and 2021 so far, the award ceremony is embracing our virtual world. So we asked members of our UVic co-op team to learn more about each winner through virtual interviews. Our first recipient has been a co-op employer since 2004. We're happy to name PCL Construction as the Employer of the Year in the category of business with more than 50 employees. Congratulations to PCL Construction. Let's learn more about that.
Yeah, big congratulations, PCL. Of course, a great big company in Canada.
Hello, my name is Calvin Tripp, and I'm an engineering co-op coordinator at the University of Victoria, and I work with some very fun people. Some of the fun people that I get to work with is a company like PCL Construction. They've been hiring students since 2004, about 150 students in about 200 different positions. We were fortunate enough to nominate them for Employer of the Year this year as well. And they won. So congratulations, Scott, on that support of the students.
Thank you very much. We're super excited to be having this conversation and just to be partnered with UVic. It's been great for us. Like when I see what the students are doing for us, they are fully engaged in our business. Everything from strategic initiatives to that kind of hands-on tactile problem solving on our job sites or in our office. And again, it's not just engineering, it's virtual construction, accounting, HRPD, you name it, we employ students from UVic to do all these things for us. They bring so much life into our organization, because bright-eyed, eager, willing to work hard, perhaps not jaded from some of the tension that work can create for you. And they serve as a great reminder of why our industry is so fun and all the challenges that it brings.
What would you suggest to employers about taking on co-op students as well?
If it wasn't for, UVic and other institutions that we partner with, we wouldn't have the talent that we have. It is the single best source of incoming talent, for sure. I'm not saying this because we're having this conversation. We would do this whether we got acknowledged for it or not. It is the quality of students coming out of UVic in particular has been fantastic.
The thing that I noticed about PCL is that they really are a family. And when you're a co-op student, you are part of the family. And somebody is always willing to take time out of their day to help you or show you the aspects of the construction industry. And that's one of the things I enjoyed the most about my co-op time at PCL.
I would encourage a lot of my classmates to apply for jobs with PCL because it has been very beneficial to me. I really enjoyed it, and I think it has allowed me to develop a lot personally. They've given me a lot of responsibility, and it's been stressful at times, but I think I've grown a lot from the level of responsibility that they give the students. And I think it's a really valuable work experience, regardless of whether you see yourself ending up in construction.
Thank you, Scott, for supporting all of our co-op students and winning the Employer of the Year for UVic Co-op. Good job. Thanks a lot. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Kevin. Really appreciate it. We're flattered and almost feeling like we don't deserve it. It should be the other way around. We are so grateful for the partnership that we have with UVic and the quality of students that you are supplying us, that you're giving us a chance to experience. They're coming into our organization from day one and starting to create a big impact for us and pushing our company into the spots into the future that our industry requires. So thank you so much.
Deserve the award. And I think, some of the things that really resonated with me, Bruce, when Scott was talking, was he said the students are fully engaged in everything in the business. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. And PCL offers our students to be engaged is absolutely terrific.
PCL and others in that sector are very robust. Construction is booming right now. They're always hiring. They're always looking. So congratulations to PCL and thanks for being a part of the co-op program. The next recipient is new to UVic's co-op program, which leads me to their reward category. This is the winner in the category of new co-op employer, and that is Trailmark Systems. Let's learn a bit more about them.
My name is Jade Hulkrow, and I'm a co-op assistant in the Engineering and Computer Science Co-op office. We're very excited to award Trailmark Systems with our Employer of the Year award. Our relationship began with Trailmark Systems just over a year ago, and in that short amount of time, they have hired 6 co-op students from a variety of programs. I'm joined by Beth from Trailmark Systems. Beth, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the company?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Beth Keats. I'm one of the co-founders of Trailmark Systems. Trailmark is a research and consulting and a software company. We work primarily with Indigenous communities across Canada.
How does employing co-op students add value to the organization?
Co-op students come really with a lot of fresh ideas. They're fresh out of university, and this line of work, we actually rely a lot on academic skills. They're able to put those skills that they've come from acquiring at UVic directly into the jobs that we need their help from. They have lots of energy, and they also have a lot of curiosity and are willing to try new things.
Why do you feel that these kinds of opportunities are important to provide to post-secondary students?
I think it's so important to help people in post-secondary find their purpose. And coming out of university and having experience in a job that might directly relate to their education, I think is priceless, and being able to facilitate a person finding their purpose in life is a great rewarding experience. And I think it's incredibly important to help young people. I think we have a duty to younger people to help them find their place.
And how are you preparing students for the workforce?
Because we involve our co-op students in our planning meetings, our strategizing, our brainstorming, our races to the deadlines, we're preparing them for the workforce by acting like a workforce that they are a part of, they're an integral part of.
My favorite part about my experience with Trailmark Systems is how everyone with the company really pushes continuous learning. So as I'm going through my co-op term, I feel that I am supported in my learning process, but also I have all these opportunities to gain new understandings of different software systems, projects, tasks, all these kind of learning opportunities.
Most exceptional aspects of working at Trailmark was just being exposed to real life challenges and problems. I've learned that you won't be able to know everything with the industry. It's always evolving, always new stuff coming out, and you really have to, be open to exploring and trying out new things.
Beth, Trailmark has been such a great supporter of the co-op program, and we can't wait to continue working with you in future hiring semesters. The University of Victoria is very proud to award you with the Employer of the Year award for 2020. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored. On behalf of all of us at Trailmark, I just want to say thank you so much for this, and we're really humbled and grateful. This is really nice.
Unshielded, as Beth said, which is also terrific.
Yeah, the engagement with Indigenous business is so important. There's so much potential there that has to be fulfilled. So congratulations to all of them for doing that. Okay, next up, the category of businesses with less than 50 employees. We have a company that's been hiring UVic co-op students for 6 years, and they are Oak and Orca Bioregional School. Congratulations, and let's learn more about them. O&O.
My name is Alison Benner. I'm the Co-op Coordinator for Humanities and Fine Arts at the University of Victoria. On behalf of my colleagues in Co-op, I'm delighted to present OKINAWA Bioregional School with our Employer of the Year Award. Over the past several years, OKINAWA has mentored 26 UVic co-op students from multiple disciplines. This past year alone, the school has hosted 18 of our students in what has proven to be an exceptionally rich and grounded experiential learning experience. Today I'm joined by Kara Woodcock and Eva Bocek from OKINAWA Bioregional School. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your school?
Thanks, Allison. Hi, my name's Eva Bocek, and I'm the project manager of the high school curriculum development team, where we hire co-ops into to help us with curriculum development, and I'm also an educator at OKINAWA.
Hi, I'm Kara. I am the principal here at OKINAWA. We're a small school here in Victoria. We've got about 50 children here on site and a few hundred across the province in our home learning program.
Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the kinds of hands-on learning opportunities co-op students undertake while at OKINAWA.
Yeah, it's a fairly unique opportunity for university students to be able to take the knowledge that they've learned, the experiences that they've learned through their education, and transfer that into curriculum and engaging activities that our students here at OKINAWA, both on-site and off-site, engage with.
Beyond that, I've heard a lot from my students about the unique value that your organization has brought to their co-op experience. I'm wondering if you can speak to the unique value that co-op students bring to OKINAWA.
Our co-op students have really brought that out-of-the-box thinking, creativity. How can we help these students to experience that knowledge by providing activities they can do themselves, things they can watch, things they can read, and really trying to think of ways to make knowledge interesting to them.
OKINAWA prioritizes a learning environment that is self-guided by all its students. And I found that that really applied not just to the OKINAWA students, but to everyone, the staff, the co-op students, me, the children I was working with. We were all learning from each other in a very continuous and natural way. Just every aspect of my time there was a learning experience, and I'm really grateful to have had that.
Kara and Eva, you and your school have been such exemplary supporters of UVic co-op students. The University of Victoria is thrilled to award you with the Co-op Employer of the Year Award for 2020. I wanted to extend my warmest congratulations to you.
Thank you, Allison. It's been a pleasure to work with the UVic co-op program and with all of the UVic students. I and Kara have both been UVic students at one point, and we went through the co-op program, and it's wonderful to kind of see the whole full circle and to be able to host co-op students now.
Thank you, Allison. It was such a surprise as a small school to be nominated and to, be here with you today. We really appreciate the enthusiastic young people that you have brought us.
So first, really interesting, Eva and Kara, both UVic graduates, and both went through the co-op system. I mean, it's fantastic that they've had such a positive experience in the program that they've decided in their own business now to utilize the same route and get co-op students. I think that's fantastic. It's role modeling. Yeah.
These are just amazing stories. They really are. We have a final one here to inspire you too. The final recipient received an award in a category that is new this year. This organization has been hiring UVic co-op students since 2012, and their award is in the International Employer of the Year category. So congratulations to Western Digital Thailand. Congratulations, and let's learn more about that.
My name is Karima Ramchi. I'm the Associate Director for International, Indigenous, and Strategic Initiatives at the University of Victoria's Co-op Education Program and Career Services. We're delighted to award our inaugural International Employer of the Year Award to Western Digital Thailand. I'm joined today by Dr. Sampan Silapanad, Vice President at Western Digital Thailand. Sampan, congratulations on this award.
First of all, we'd like to thank you, Karima, and thanks to the whole UVic team. The award is so excited to the team here, and the team feel it is so meaningful for us. And I believe the power of the award will make the team moving forward very nicely.
Sampan, what competencies do students bring to your workplace?
I would say that based on the team input, the mentors here, or the co-op students, we are happy to hear the new idea. Don't forget, these are the new gen of people, the Gen Z, and some of them are Gen Millennium. We really looking for those new ideas from the student. And on along the project that designed by Western Digital and our team, there are a couple of good points here. Number one, the project objective. We are helping designing together between Western Digital and the student. And at the same time, throughout 4 months and 6 months, we do the assessment almost every week. And we do some reflection for improvement to the student and also our manager in the Western Digital.
That's perfect. That's a high quality work integrated learning program. You just outlined the characteristics of a AAA framework that we go by with high quality work integrated learning. Sampan, why do you think it is important for you to provide post-secondary students all these opportunities to come and develop these wonderful skills that they do at Western Digital?
I think let's talk about that piece a little bit. I would say the key outcome for the student is employability. And I see the student who join the co-op program always get the job faster.
I was very fortunate, I would say, to have an experience working in a real global HR team. I did my 4 months in Thailand with Western Digital, and then directly after came back to Canada. And once I saw this posting at a tech company here in Victoria, Canada, a lot of the responsibilities actually aligned very closely with what I did in Thailand. Now, 3.5 years into my career, I'm still at this job that I love, and I don't think I would have had that opportunity without my co-op experience with Western Digital.
Well, Sampan, we're very appreciative of your partnership with us and your tremendous support of our co-op program. The University of Victoria is proud to award you with our Employer of the Year Award. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Again, thank you, Karima. Thank you, University of Victoria. Thank you, everyone.
Dr. Sampan, a big thank you to you and Western Digital. It's a fantastic experience that you're providing our students. And Bruce, what was interesting for me was Lexi, the student, who mentioned, she went off on this experience, came back, and she was able to use the skills she got on the job to get her next job. And I think that's absolutely, this program's working as it should be. It's fantastic to see that.
Yep.
I think the other piece around the intercultural experience, what a great opportunity. We talked about that a little bit earlier, in travel. Experiencing other cultures around the world. It's just a terrific opportunity.
Yeah, we've seen places of intolerance in the world where there hasn't been enough interaction with other cultures. So we need to build on that opportunity. We are a global village, and that's the kind of stuff that helps encourage that. So well done. Okay, we're going to move on now because, of course, the co-op program wouldn't exist without all of the amazing employers or, for that matter, the incredible UVic students. Every year, Co-op and Career also likes to recognize students who have made outstanding achievements in their academic achievement, whose workplace performance and their community involvement has been outstanding. This year, the 3 students who received the Student of the Year Award are Jaden Isaacson in business, Kaljit Singh in computer science, and Tessa Dagenet in coaching studies. Let's learn more about these remarkable students.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm a 4th year business student studying at University of Victoria.
My name is Kavajit Singh. I am a third-year computer science student at the University of Victoria.
My name is Tessa Dajne. I am a coach and athletic director in Anzac, Alberta at Bill Woodward School, and we are the Co-op Students of the Year for 2020.
I am from Calgary, Alberta, and I chose the University of Victoria because of its amazing international exchange program along with the mandatory co-op program.
I'm an international student at UVic, originally from India. The reason I chose UVic was because UVic has a really good reputation about its computer science and the co-op program.
I was lucky enough to do my co-op program here at Bill Woodward School in Anzac, Alberta. We're a small rural community that's 40 minutes south of Fort McMurray, and we're enriched with many different cultures here at Bill Woodward School, from Dene, Métis, and Cree.
I did my co-op at a Saskatoon-based company called Windasta, and they provide a platform to sell digital solutions to local businesses.
My first co-op term was with Lamazoo Interactive, which is a virtual reality company here in Victoria. My second co-op term was with Used Victoria, where I worked as a marketing assistant. And my third and fourth co-op terms were with Shift Technologies. A standout moment from my time at Shift is launching a sustainable outreach program called the Customer Cheer Program. This program was aimed to provide our customers with gift cards from Global Giving to allow them to donate to a charity of their choice. And this kickstarted my desire to work in a sustainable business program in my future.
This co-op program has really affected my career path immensely. Taking this program has allowed me to learn so many tools that I can use to grow as a coach and help my athletes become the best that they can be.
Developing code that impacts millions of lives. I just love that feeling. I love being a developer, and I can definitely say that I'm on the right career path. Being recognized as the Co-op Student of the Year for the engineering and computer science, I feel really happy, feel really blessed to have been a part of this co-op program and to be able to work in with such great team.
I had the most incredible experience doing my co-ops here at the Woodward School, and it really strengthened my bond with my athletes, but also it strengthened the bond with our community here in Anzac.
I'm really excited to see what the future has in store, and I want to make sure I say thank you to all of the people that have helped me get here and the people that believed in me throughout all of my co-ops.
All of this helped me become a better coach and also in turn help my athletes grow.
This co-op has changed my life. It has been a life-changing experience.
Thank you for choosing me for this award.
Thank you so much.
Now, Bruce, it's amazing to see those stories and to see the opportunities that those students have had.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring. It really is. So everyone involved in putting this together, congratulations. It's been a great day, and those closing words to wrap it up, I will leave to you, my friend.
You know, I just actually, this thing works because we've got such great partners in the employers, and it works because our students are enthusiastic. And just a huge big thanks to everybody for that. Sorry we're running over time, and we're going to cut our remarks short, but just, truly, from the bottom of our heart at UVic, we just thank all of our employers that work with us on the co-op program. If you have any good suggestions for us on how we might make things better, there is a suggestion box. It's called the uvic.ca/suggestion box. And so please send in your comments. And finally, Bruce, I really want to thank you. I mean, you're doing some absolutely incredible work at the Business Chamber. And thanks so much for coming today, taking time out to do this really important event with us. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for the support that UVic offers to the Chamber. And I'm looking forward to working with many more UVic co-op students in the near and immediate future. So congratulations to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.